I was labeled the charity case before I even took my seat. I clearly heard the comment across the dining area. It wasn't a whisper, but it carried a sharpness that stung. The bright light from the massive fixture highlighted every unkind smile and every toast delivered with forced elegance. My foster sister, Savannah, leaned back. Her voice was sweet on the surface but edged with something dangerous. She said, "This table is reserved for immediate family, certainly not for foster beggars." Loud, polished, cruel laughter rippled through the upscale restaurant. My face immediately flushed, but my hand stayed steady on the table. The server approached, placing a check for $3,100 in front of me as if daring me. I quietly slid my credit card across the crisp white cloth. That single calm gesture changed the entire dynamic. People often said I was fortunate. My birth parents had died tragically in a car accident, yet I never ended up in the system. Our close family friends, Carol and David Harrington, took me in. During interviews, they smiled broadly, assuring neighbors they were fulfilling a civic duty. For a while, I believed them. I was only 5, too young to distinguish true kindness from tolerance. They put me in a small room at the back of the hallway, painted a pale yellow, as if the color could make up for the cramped space. I was handed Savannah's worn clothes and Jeremy's old, cracked schoolbooks. I was constantly reminded to be grateful. "You are one of us now," my foster mother would insist, her voice tight with forced righteousness. "Never forget we rescued you." Even then, I knew it wasn't love. It was a favor perpetually held over my head. From the outside, the Harrington home looked flawless. White shutters were perfectly aligned. The landscaping was immaculate. David Harrington's luxury cars gleamed in the morning sun on the driveway. Inside, though, tension lingered. Compliments always came with a cost. Meals felt like scripted performances. They prayed before eating, thanking God for their good fortune, then spent the meal judging who merited it most. Savannah, 5 years older than me, dominated their attention. She earned straight A's, wore designer shoes, and had a laugh that could switch from sweet to cruel in an instant. Jeremy, the middle child, trailed her everywhere. And me. I sat silently in the farthest seat, careful never to scrape my silverware against the plate. The only person who made me feel like I truly belonged was Elena Harrington, my foster father's mother. She was in her 70s when I met her. Sharp and direct, she had built Sterling Hayes Farmer from the ground up, earning her first million long before my foster mother finished college. Yet she never let her wealth make her feel superior. She visited on Sundays, bringing fresh pastries and an intense, evaluating gaze. "Do you read often, Eva?" she asked me once. I nodded. Good. Those who read learn how to survive when things are quiet. She was the only one who noticed my silence. By 28, I had moved into a small downtown flat. I opened my own design studio. It was modest, one desk, a single computer, a clear view of a brick wall, but it was entirely mine. I had stopped expecting the Harringtons to notice me, yet I continued visiting Elena. She often called me her most sensible granddaughter. For a few hours, her living room felt like a sanctuary. Then Savannah announced a celebratory dinner. It was to mark a major business deal she had secured, and she posted the invitation in the family group chat I hadn't left. "Everyone is coming," she typed. The attached photo showed an upscale restaurant with a note, "Family only." I stared at the screen, thumb hovering before typing. Should I still plan on attending? I hit send. Silence followed. Days passed. No reply, not even an emoji, only the scene receipt. I convinced myself it didn't matter. I was used to being ignored. Still, each phone vibration sparked a flicker of hope that it might be a normal or kind message. It never was. 3 nights before the dinner, my foster mother called, not to invite me, but to remind me about the dress code. Savannah had reserved a separate dining area, she said in her usual cheerfully mechanical tone. "Everyone will wear black and gold. You should try to look presentable." Presentable? That was the same word used when I had to fix my hair before church as a child. I confirmed I would attend. Relief softened her tone, as if avoiding public embarrassment was her only concern. After hanging up, I went to the window and watched snow gather on the streetlights. Elena had once said snow has two sides. It is soft when falling, deadly when accumulated. I understood her words better now. The next day, I visited Elena. She sat near the fireplace, wrapped in a thick shawl, holding a cup of tea. "You seem quiet," she observed without looking up. I told her about the dinner. She didn't ask if I wanted to go. She simply nodded. "Let them show their true selves," she murmured. "Sometimes that is the best gift they can offer." Her words stayed with me. The night before the event, Savannah's posts flooded my social media feed. Photos of lavish gift bags, champagne, and designer heels lined up perfectly. Her caption read, "Hard work brings success. So thankful to celebrate with the best family ever." My stomach tightened. The best family ever. I almost sent a text to cancel, citing a busy schedule, but I didn't. Instead, I retrieved the black dress I had bought last year on sale. I ironed it, mended a loose seam, and laid it across my bed. I picked up my old leather handbag from college, slipping in a simple silver bracelet Alina had given me years ago, meant to bring luck that evening. Sleep eluded me. Memories resurfaced, birthday candles I wasn't allowed to blow out, holidays with my name absent from gift tags. By morning, my decision was made. "I'm going," I whispered to my reflection. "Not for them, but for me." The restaurant looked impressive, clearly designed to make a statement. Bright lights reflected off soft white linens, and the faint scent of truffle oil lingered in the air. I arrived a little early, gripping my small clutch firmly. The hostess offered a polite smile. "Party for Harrington?" she asked. I nodded. At the table, the group was already assembled. Savannah wore golden silk. Jeremy scrolled on his phone. My foster parents laughed excessively loud, as always. For a moment, no one looked at me. Then Savannah turned, a smirk curving her lips just enough to sting. "Oh, Eva, you actually showed up," she said, feigning surprise. "Naturally," I replied, my voice calm. "I wouldn't miss it." The hostess tried to pull out another chair, but Savannah waved her off. "It's fine. She can take the end seat." Heat rushed to my neck. Elena was the only one to object. "No," she said firmly. "She sits beside me." Her tone silenced everyone instantly. I offered a small, grateful smile and took the seat next to her. Dinner began. Dishes arrived in smooth succession: lobster tails, filet mignon, wine I hadn't ordered. I remained quiet, cutting my food into tiny, insignificant pieces. Across the table, Savannah launched into a long speech about her major deal, describing how she had closed a multi-million-dollar partnership. My foster father beamed. My foster mother dabbed her lips. "That's exactly like our girl," she commented. When a pause appeared in the conversation, I spoke. "Actually," I said softly, "I just signed my largest client to date, a national campaign." My words hovered, fragile yet true. I waited for simple recognition. Instead, my foster mother smiled without meeting my eyes. "That's nice, dear," she said, then immediately turned back to Savannah. "Now, tell us more about your agreement." The laughter that followed wasn't loud, but it carried that dismissive, familiar tone I had known all my life. I focused on my Lena. She remained silent, fork untouched, eyes sharp. Her jaw tightened, but she said nothing. When dessert arrived, Savannah lifted her glass. "To family, real family," she declared, looking straight at me. The others echoed her toast. "To family." My throat tightened. I sipped water, keeping my hands steady while my heart pounded. Inside, something finally fractured. Not suddenly, but slowly, surely. "I'm okay," I whispered to myself. "Just fine." Their laughter now sounded hollow, inhuman, a sound people use to validate their own place. I watched the chandelier shimmer in my glass. Then Savannah's voice cut through again, syrupy and cruel. This table's for real family, not for foster beggars. Silence fell for a heartbeat, then small snickers and smirks spread. My foster mother joined in, her high, forced laugh echoing the same fake normalcy. David Harrington avoided my gaze. Jeremy muttered something unintelligible. My cheeks burned, but I held my head high. Silence suited me better than speaking. I pressed my napkin into my lap, deliberate and controlled. Every muscle screamed to flee, but leaving would be a victory for them. The waiter appeared, forced smile in place. May I get you anything else? Savannah waved dismissively. Just the bill, please. Moments later he returned, placing a leather folder before me. I blinked, thinking it must be a mistake. Then Savannah leaned forward, grin wide for the whole restaurant. You don't mind, do you? Consider it your thank you for everything we've given you. Her words hit like a physical blow. I looked down. The total read $3,100, nearly a month's rent for my apartment. My fingers trembled as I traced the numbers. No one intervened. I could have refused. I could have walked away. Instead, I pulled out my bank card, feeling the cold plastic in my palm. The server paused, sensing the tension. I nodded. When the machine beeped, the sound resonated deep in my chest. One transaction, one piercing noise, settling 2 decades of silent disrespect. I set down the pen, returned the folder, and neatly folded my napkin over my empty plate. All finished, I said softly. A few seconds of absolute quiet followed. Only distant forks and soft jazz filled the air. Then Mylena pushed back her chair, the screeching withdrawing every eye. I'm done, she declared clearly. My foster mother laughed nervously. Mother, don't be so dramatic. Elena raised her hand. No. I've seen enough of this show. Her gaze fixed on Savannah. You, your father, and your mother. You've forgotten what decency means. Savannah blinked. What is this? We were just joking. A joke. Elena's voice sharpened. You humiliate my granddaughter in public. Why? To feel powerful for one dinner. Color drained from Savannah's face. She is not your granddaughter, Elena continued. You are wrong. She is the only one who has ever acted like family. The table froze. David Harrington slammed his hand on the table, missing his glass. My foster mother's laugh faltered. I have cancer, Elena stated plainly. Stage 4. 6 months. Silence pressed down. Savannah gasped. Mom, please. Save it. Elena interrupted. I am not here for sympathy. I am here for truth. She turned to me. Eva gets everything. I stared, stunned. Her composure was unshakable. Savannah shot up. You can't do that. That money belongs to the family. Family. Elena's gaze burned. The same people who stole $750,000 from a child savings trust? My foster mother dropped her fork. Mother, stop. Elena continued. I found the records. Every penny Eva's parents left is gone. Spent on trips, private school, new cars. You profited from her pain. David Harrington hit the table again. You don't understand how costly things are. Elena cut him off. I understand perfectly. You stole what wasn't yours. I froze, heart hammering. I had never known about the trust fund. The air felt thick and suffocating. Savannah's lips trembled. Jeremy stared silently at his plate. Elena looked at me again. Take me home, Eva. That command broke the spell. Savannah grabbed my arm. You set this up, she hissed. You made her hate us. I pulled away. My voice was quiet but firm. You did that job yourself. She glared, shaking. We'll fight it in court. You will get nothing. I'll see you there, I said. I helped Mylena to her feet. Her hand felt fragile but strong in mine. We walked past the shocked table, past the staring strangers. The music faded behind us. Outside, the night air was cold and honest. Elena squeezed my hand gently. I should have done this years ago. Through the window I still saw them, Savannah yelling, red-faced. My foster mother clutching her head, David Harrington signaling the waiter, trying to use money to repair their broken dignity. I didn't feel like I had one. Not yet. Just clean. An emptiness that finally allowed peace. The news broke later that week. Headlines screamed about the inheritance change. Reporters showed up. I stayed quiet. Elena did not. She held a press conference with her lawyer. I am perfectly competent, she declared. And I am tired of seeing good hearts punished. Cameras flashed. She presented the evidence, bank statements, trust fund records, proof of stolen money. Then she played the dinner video. Savannah's voice rang out. This table's for real family, not for foster beggars. Silence fell. Elena looked at the cameras. This is what cruelty sounds like when it thinks no one is listening. Savannah then stormed in. Her voice shook. She's lying. Eva used her. We raised that girl out of pity. She owes us. Reporters gasped. Cameras focused on her. Elena tilted her head. Did you just say she owes you? Savannah stammered, realizing her mistake. I mean, the lawyer stepped forward. You just admitted that on camera. The video went viral by nightfall. 20 million views by morning. Comments were brutal. What an admission. Justice served instantly. By the time the trial occurred, the public was firmly on my side. The judge ruled the will valid. The fund had been stolen. Restitution was owed. Elena's choice stood. I didn't celebrate. I sat next to her. She whispered, "Silence works when the truth is loud enough." A month later, she was gone. At her funeral, I placed a white rose on her casket, the same white as the dinner cloth. I closed my eyes and remembered the credit card beep. This time, it didn't hurt. It sounded like one door closing and another opening. The world changed fast, but I didn't. I stayed in Elena's house with the porch and lemon trees. The quiet felt peaceful, not painful. The house smelled of her perfume and old books. I made tea every day her way. 2 sugars, no milk. David Harrington received 3 years for financial fraud. My foster mother sold the house to cover legal fees and left town. Jeremy's loan scandal became public. His fiancée left him. Savannah lost her business after the viral video ruined her reputation. Brands cut ties overnight. Reporters requested comments. I gave none. Nothing needed to be said. Justice, once delivered, requires no follow-up. I focused on my design work, then started something bigger. I used part of the inheritance to create the Elena Foundation. It helps foster and adopted children who were cheated or ignored. We provide lawyers, therapy, tuition, everything I once needed. The first check felt like redemption. A year later, an application arrived. Savannah Harrington requested funds for financial trouble and therapy. I read her words. She had lost everything, was sorry, and wanted a second chance. I considered approving it. Then I remembered her cutting laughter at the table. I stamped the file denied, and moved on. Some wins are quiet. Mine was. That night, I lit a candle for my Lena. We did it, I whispered. The flame burned steady and bright, as if she heard me. I visit her grave every Sunday. The city noise fades there. I tell her about the foundation and the 200 children we have helped. I imagine her small knowing smile, the one that meant she saw the ending long before I did. People ask if I forgave them. I say, boundaries are freedom, not forgiveness. Family is those who never made you pay for your seat. If you've fought to be seen, share your story and subscribe. Someone needs to hear it. By the time the trial occurred, the public was firmly on my side. The judge ruled the will valid. The fund had been stolen. Restitution was owed. Elena's choice stood. I didn't celebrate. I sat next to her. She whispered, "Silence works when the truth is loud enough." A month later, she was gone. At her funeral, I placed a white rose on her casket, the same white as the dinner cloth. I closed my eyes and remembered the credit card beep. This time, it didn't hurt. It sounded like one door closing and another opening. The world changed fast, but I didn't. I stayed in Alina's house with the porch and lemon trees. The quiet felt peaceful, not painful. The house smelled of her perfume and old books. I made tea every day her way. 2 sugars, no milk. David Harrington received 3 years for financial fraud. My foster mother sold the house to cover legal fees and left town. Jeremy's loan scandal became public. His fiancée left him. Savannah lost her business after the viral video ruined her reputation. Brands cut ties overnight. Reporters requested comments. I gave none. Nothing needed to be said. Justice, once delivered, requires no follow-up. I focused on my design work, then started something bigger. I used part of the inheritance to create the Alina Foundation. It helps foster and adopted children who were cheated or ignored. We provide lawyers, therapy, tuition, everything I once needed. The first check felt like redemption. A year later, an application arrived. Savannah Harrington requested funds for financial trouble and therapy. I read her words. She had lost everything, was sorry, and wanted a second chance. I considered approving it. Then I remembered her cutting laughter at the table. I stamped the file denied, and moved on. Some wins are quiet. Mine was. That night, I lit a candle for my Lena. "We did it," I whispered. The flame burned steady and bright, as if she heard me. I visit her grave every Sunday. The city noise fades there. I tell her about the foundation and the 200 children we have helped. I imagine her small knowing smile, the one that meant she saw the ending long before I did. People ask if I forgave them. I say, boundaries are freedom, not forgiveness. Family is those who never made you pay for your seat. If you fought to be seen, share your story and subscribe. Someone needs to hear it.